Well, I think this is a one-size-fits-all policy. By reducing the workload of homework and also abolishing the extracurricular classes, it cannot radically improve the educational outcomes of China and also cannot meet students' real needs.
Okay, first, let me state my overall view on the double reduction policy. On the surface, the policy aims to reduce students' academic burdens, but its deeper purpose is to optimize the workforce structure. Before the policy, the primary goal for all students was to enter university, to become a white-collar worker, to sit in the office. Yet society doesn't need that many white collars. It needs blue-collar workers to build those offices. Therefore, we need vocational school students, junior college graduates, to become blue-collar workers. Through the double reduction policy, by weakening or even cutting off extracurricular tutoring, reducing academic burdens and lowering study time, academic performance is also weakened. It's akin to reducing the frequency of military training. Soldiers might become happier and have less stress, but can we still ensure combat effectiveness? On the other hand, reforms in middle and high school entrance exams, increasing difficulty levels, reducing the number of students entering high school, consequently decreasing the number of university students, and increasing vocational school students, all aim to optimize the workforce structure. So overall, this goal is positive. However, I have some concerns about the steps or process involved in pushing it forward. Okay, it depends on the goals of the students. We are currently undergoing reforms in the college entrance examination, which is Gaokao, which overall aims to become more flexible yet challenging. Correspondingly, extracurricular tutoring resources have been eliminated. For students aiming to excel in university entrance exams, this has increased the tremendous academic pressure. However, for those who voluntarily choose to pursue vocational education, it significantly reduces unnecessary burdens and expenses. The question is, how many students would like to do that?
Well, from my perspective, at first many households advocate for this policy due to equity in education. However, I do not think it is a reasonable policy to just close down all after-school institutions since, the government aims to achieve equity by preventing all students from learning under the aid of after-school classes, while those disadvantaged households who did not take after-school classes continue to do so. Besides, those communities continue to lack educational resources like qualified teachers, technology, devices, and also the academic materials. And for those parents who were wealthy and concerned about their children's study would try their best to secretly hire personal tutors or add online classes to their children. And also this less wealthy households tried their best to look for excellent teaching resources, secret classes for their children, since great academic performance means great universities and decent jobs in the future. So from those aspects, I do not think this is a very equity policy for education.
Firstly, the double reduction policy does not clearly provide measures to address urban-rural disparities. It's more like a balanced reduction of burdens, while urban-rural inequality is a long-standing issue. For example, if an overweight, big-belly person wants to lose some weight, and the weight loss plan is to make them proportionally thinner all over, then indeed, the overall weight will decrease, but the belly will still remain relatively large. This illustrates the impact on the double reduction policy on urban-rural inequalities.
Well, as far as I see, the government thinks that those extracurricular classes increase inequity in education, expanding the gap between students who attend classes and those who do not. Besides, the government also believes that there are so many unqualified institutes seeking profits in education. Thus, their employed teachers and other educators are not qualified and responsible for students' academic results. However, since parents think extracurricular classes help aid their children's academic outcomes and future career, they invest so much in extracurricular classes, which burdens them a lot economically. Therefore, the government aims to address inequity in education and decrease the household's economic burden. Well, also speaking of my own career life, as a small-scale educational studio founder, the government mainly started abolishing those large-scale and medium-scale institutions. So my small-scale educational studio was still operating. What was interesting was that, there are more students who wanted to study in my studio. However, it seems that as extracurriculum class teachers, we didn't get social respect and were concerned about our future career.
Okay, the double reduction policy has had a profound impact on me and my team, even altering our anticipated life trajectories. At that time, I worked for China's largest educational institution as a program manager, overseeing a team of nearly 200 teachers. I even have the potential to become the youngest program director the next year. However, due to the double reduction policy, our department was entirely dismissed, resulting in all staff members unemployed. I was responsible for laying off all my teachers and my project supervisors first, and then I was let go by my boss, the project director. Such experience occurred to nearly a million of people, which directly promoted my decision to come to Canada for further studies. That's why I'm here. A grain of sand in the era becomes a mountain on each individual's shoulders. In my personal view, the enforcement of double reduction policies varies among different local governments. Beijing indeed achieved strict management and control, but it's not necessarily the case in other places. The most efficient aspect of double reduction is addressing the top-tier institutions, like the one I worked for. However, as I mentioned earlier, the demand still exists, which has led to the emergence of many medium and small-scale institutions, and even underground ones. They absorb resources released by the top-tier institutions, and with relatively poor quality, they obtain better survival opportunities. As the saying goes, when one whale falls, mirrored creatures thrive. Therefore, it is evidently necessary to have stricter quality control. However, the problem remains the conflict between essential needs and control.
I don't think it necessarily caters to students' real needs, since schools cannot thoroughly meet individual needs, and also no school reform carried out to address the school curriculum. So I think students will still have their own individualistic needs and difficulties in their subjects, which means that they need actual help. Also, many educational institutions provide small classes and design interesting classroom activities and target teaching materials, which can complement students' real needs. So in this sense, I think educational institutes should be a complement for schools. And also speaking of the decrease of homework, I think this is a good policy, but it depends on whether students can understand the knowledge and also can apply the knowledge in practice.